central bank has what's called the target credit facility, where they target a group of people, especially vulnerable or poor people in rural areas. We are building an engine that connects these people to the financial sector with our APIs. The central bank or institutions do not need to use third parties to make these expensive disbursements, because you don't need to onboard them first before paying them. You can pay them, and that process of them onboarding themselves automatically. I know state governments, like my state government, Kaduna State, they do conditional cash transfers, and they have to use banks to be able to first start onboarding them. But with this solution, you could just make these payments directly to them, and that helps them to onboard easily. So it's a seamless, we believe our process accelerates the onboarding process easily and very fast. I'm going to quickly show us a demo of what happened. So I'm going to quickly show us a demo of how we make a payment to someone using his phone number. And so what we can see is that the person makes enters the phone number, then enters the short code, and then sends. So that's the menu. You can see, you can do so many things. You can transfer to an eNAIRA user. You can transfer to a non-eNAIRA user. You can create, maybe S2 accounts. You can also purchase airtime. But here I want to show transfer to a eNAIRA user, because he's unbanked. So let's see how we can do that. So he picks number 4 on that menu, and then enters the amount he wants to transfer, and he clicks send. And then he enters the recipient's phone number. He enters that phone number, so he can enter it again. Now he enters the NIN. This is the point where he's onboarding himself, and then transaction has been processed. So automatically, that transaction, you have made the payment. You can see that you have successfully transferred 1,000 naira to this, and this person, you see the recipient has received. He can now onboard with his NIN. Sorry, the other person doesn't enter an NIN. The sender doesn't need to enter an NIN.
2 minutes left.
The sender doesn't need to enter an NIN. All he just needs to do is enter the phone number, while the recipient does star the short codes that we're using, and then enters his NIN, because we need to get all his details. The phone number has to be a registered NIN phone number, and by registering it automatically, he onboards him, and then the money drops in his wallet. Now with this solution, we can partner easily with banks to be able to ensure that they are the one holding those values. Now what happens just in case the recipient does not get the funds, or he doesn't act, it's automatically returned back to the sender automatically. And so we've shown this, how that works. There are other layers that we are building on top of it. Purchase of funds. Right now, there is no system where people in rural areas that are not banked can buy airtime without physically going there to pay for it. But with this solution, you can easily buy airtime, and then you can make these purchases and all that. Users can also onboard themselves without waiting for a trigger payment to onboard them. They can also automatically onboard themselves. But we believe with this solution, we can accelerate. We believe that with this solution, we will be able to accelerate the onboarding like wildfire of the eNAIRA solution in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That presentation was delivered within time by the team lead for Team 63, Mora Ifani Dono. And now to the judges. Within a time frame of 5 minutes, you have the opportunity to interrogate his presentation, ask your questions, lay out your queries, and then we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't see you address how you integrate the non-smart phone users. Why you don't have a smartphone onboarding. You think that you have super agents who onboard people? But because I hear you use short code.
Yeah, that's for non-smart users. USSD is for non-smartphone users.
Yes, but how did you onboard them? I'm going to use USSD code, But how do I get the wallet?
So let's run this scenario together. You are unbanked.
Yeah.
And I send the money to you. You must get an SMS, right? With instruction to type star so. As soon as you type it, you get the value plus get onboarded.
But how do I get onboarded when my name is not?
It's there because you entered your NIN. We use your NIN to get your details onboarding. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Just two quick questions. You said you put in his phone number.
The sender.
No. He's going to use a receiver.
Yes.
What does he put in? His phone number.
No, not his phone number.
What does he put in? His NIN.
He types a short code that has enters the NIN.
The receiver.
Yes.
What does the receiver enter?
NIN.
His NIN.
Yes.
Just his NIN.
Just his NIN. Wait, in the short code. So there's an instruction in the SMS. If you follow the demo, enter star 2348 star something and NIN number, because so that's the only thing he has that is dynamic. He has to enter. Every other thing he sees what he will enter.
All right, but apart from that, just one quick one. You mentioned that you were using this example for a non-eNAIRA user, right? But you haven't demonstrated how this would enhance the eNAIRA itself.
Immediately I pay you, who doesn't have an eNAIRA, and you receive value, you now have an eNAIRA. You pay someone else, he has an eNAIRA. It starts moving like how you light candles, and then the fire goes down. That's how you're accelerating your onboarding. The incentives to onboard. Imagine if you were going to have an account with commercial banks and you didn't need to walk to a bank to fill out forms. All you just needed was to receive a payment that triggers you having that account. That's what we just did with the eNAIRA.
So what, you have some more time? If I'm onboarding myself,
yes, ma'am.
how do you validate the phone number?
First of all, we're validating the phone number. That phone number must be a registered NIN number. So if it's not registered, it fails. We validate it, of course. eNAIRA also gives us the API to do the validation. So, yes, we do that.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to register people on eNAIRA without their consent?
No.
But you need their consent to be able to register.
Because they have to consciously do it by themselves. Yes,
Okay.
They do it by themselves.
That's good.
They must do it by themselves. Thank you so much, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
The message they receive only tells them to put in their NIN and to put in their NIN and a short code, right?
Yeah, they receive. It tells them.
Tell them that by doing that they are giving out their information.
They're giving out.
They're giving out whatever information that is backed off the back of their NIN.
No, what it tells them is they have received this value, plus they can enter their NIN to now load, create the bank account. So they are not giving off information because they are creating value for themselves. They're creating a bank account. They're not giving out any information. But again, this is a journey, just like the eNAIRA itself is a journey. Yeah, we can always,
That's okay.
Okay, so if you still have 1 second, I like the presentation, very apt and direct. But just one question.
Yes, sir.
Beyond the technology, you also need to think about the operations behind it.
Yes, sir.
So you try to answer it, but you need to amplify it a little bit more.
Okay.
What happens when I send money to the wrong phone number?
Very good, sir. So, like, if you send money to the wrong phone number, right, the person tries to, first of all, you have to validate twice. So when you enter the first number, we'll return it back to you to enter it again to ensure that you're entering the right number. If you do it at that time, you're sending it to the wrong person. It's just the same way when you're buying your credit online. You have, in fact, when you're buying from most banks, you're only doing once. But we allow you to enter it twice to be sure. At that time, there's nothing we can really do there. But we are still exploring more ways to ensure that we help more people.
Thank you very much. We'll now take a few questions from the online. Please don't go. So we'll take some questions from the online judges, Afolabi and Choma. Gentlemen, questions please. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, first of all, the clarification around giving the phone number presupposes that every number that is operational in the country is registered to an NIN. Why then do you require that NIN to be imputed the second time?
That's a brilliant question, sir. So first of all, we have to ensure that we know that you are sending it to the right person. It's not for validation, it's for the user to confirm that he's sending that money to the right user. That's one. I don't know if I clarified it. And then secondly, the NIN, not all numbers as of today, unfortunately, are registered NIN. That's the second thing. So we have to validate that number and ensure that that's a registered NIN number. If it's not registered, we can't go through with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. There are no other questions from our judges. We'll wrap up this presentation session. A round of applause for him once again. Thank you, Team 63, as represented by Ifeanyi Donald Mora. The next presentation will be delivered by the team lead for Team 67. And to engage us for the next 8 minutes, I have the pleasure of inviting Sheyi Edre-TC. Sheyi Edre-TC, please come forward for your presentation. 8 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good day, panel of judges, and also distinguished guests. I'll stand on existing protocols. My name is Sheyi Edre-TC. I'm representing Team 67 Register, and I'm giving a presentation on RailsPay. It's an application or a solution we designed to facilitate the adoption of the eNAIRA. Okay, great, you can see my slide. So we looked at this application. The first thing we tried to cover here as a problem statement is why we have eNAIRA today. That has been totally dealt with and handled properly by the CBN when our Excellency talked about the reasons. But we move further than that and say, why do we have low adoption rate of the eNAIRA? Why are people not bringing it on board? And we decide at this point that we have to design a system which will facilitate payment transactions in a lot of other areas where people do their businesses, where people relate with daily, pay bills and everything. If we have such platforms integrated as part of the eNAIRA and they use eNAIRA as their digital currency, this will promote adoption. And one of the reasons why is that if everything you have to do is from a single spot with the eNAIRA, the adoption rate will increase. Another thing we considered in this application is to ensure that the users have a way to do transactions where they don't rely just solely on cash, but a digital medium. And we targeted users of smartphones, users that are savvy with technology and uses app, and even also use